The dreams of those youngsters being realised today. All of the 22 started somewhere, some earlier than others, but all wearing the red rose today, and the new grey strip as well. It's England against Australia. Match commentary comes from Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Well, there were some encouraging noises last week, but England have got to start to win at home in these games. They know it, the fans know it, the if-onlys need to turn into the did-happens. And England have to take their chances today, because there's every chance that this Australian side will take theirs. The one area where England dominated in the summer against the Wallabies was the scrum. And we start our walkthrough of the two teams for this Investec International with the England front row. And Andrew Sheridan, previously famously a slayer of the Australian scrum. Dan Cole had his success in the summer too. Dylan Hartley, the hooker, the one change from last week. Courtney Lawes had a fine game in the loose against New Zealand. Fellow lock Tom Palmer worked his socks off as well. Tom Croft at 6. Captain Lewis Moody moves on from McCaw to Pocock. That's live at the top for you. And Nick Easter, such a strong finish to the game from him 7 days ago. Halfbacks, Ben Youngs, Toby Flood, as they were in Sydney on that winning night. Shantaine Happy, who made his debut in June, and he's with Mike Tindall at centre. Tindall takes on Australia for the 10th time. The wingers, Mark Cueto, the captain of the back three, with young Chris Ashton. Australia know all about him now. And at fullback, Ben Foden, who really started to blossom as the game went on last weekend. Australia have made one change from last week's team, and at hooker as well, but unlike England, they go into this match on the back of a win, albeit having been out-scrummaged by Wales. And the two Bens, Robinson and Alexander, are the props again. Stephen Moore, the returning man, possibly key after a back injury caused his late pull-out in Cardiff. Then it's Mark Chisholm and Australia's most capped lock forward, Nathan Sharp. The back row captaincy theme at Twickenham this autumn continues. Rocky Elsom leads the Wallabies, the wide wheelbase of David Pocock and Ben McCalman at 8. So do these stellar backs, you won't spot a weak link here. Genia and Cooper at halfback. Matt Giteau and Adam Ashley Cooper, the centre pairing. And then on the wings, Drew Mitchell and the choir boy looks of James O'Connor, but don't be deceived. And at fullback, the lightning Kurtley Beale, who might well be the fastest of the lot if it wasn't for Lockie Turner, who's on the bench. So let's look at the replacements. Remember, only 22 in an international match squad, unlike domestic competitions. That might be relevant today. England have recalled 37-year-old Simon Shaw. Australia's reserve hooker is Seya Fianga, who was out of the 22 altogether, but won a reprieve yesterday when Huya Edmonds withdrew.
Well, last weekend England showed they could hold on to possession against the All Blacks. Today they have to prove they can use it. There's no doubt in their increased intensity, but to beat the Wallabies they'll need more accuracy. The Australians are producing some wondrous stuff behind the scrum. With any sort of ball, they are capable of tearing the best defence to pieces.
The countdown to the Ashes is well underway, and this afternoon we have Rugby Union's take on the old sporting rivalry, and plenty want to see it between England and Australia. And given the score of the Test series in the summer, 1-1, we in effect have a 2010 decider here at Twickenham. Since those early tests of the Australian international year, Rocky Elsom's team has been getting better and better. Just ask South Africa and New Zealand too, after they lost in Hong Kong. Wallaby coach Robbie Deans feels that now they've got the long flight out of the system, Australia are going to move up a step in the performance in Wales. That's a frightening thought for England. Here's Elsom, scored a try in the first test in Perth. A match that Australia won, living off scraps. The backs don't need much to turn scraps into a feast. And they have Stephen Moore back in the team, man of the match here in 2008, to try and help that Australian scrum.
Behind them, Will Genia is currently playing in the shadows of his partner, Quade Cooper. But the scrum half is the smoothest of links between forwards and backs, and capable of creating chaos in the most unfussy manners. He was man of the match here last year. England know Cooper's not the only half-back threat.
So do England. Continuity in selection, not just from last week, but the summer as well. And Lewis Moody's team looked to get it right straight from the off, as they did in Sydney when they came out in that second test and caught Australia with some telling early blows. That was not the case last week. A slow start cost them dear. Dylan Hartley came on and delivered England's best moment against New Zealand. That try and that never say die commitment gets its reward today with a starting position and a chance to snarl from the off.
You know, I think England's best form of defence today might just be starving Australia the primary possession alongside Hartley, Dan Cole, England's front row diamond. He did a real job on the outstanding Tony Woodcock in last Saturday's game. Now he's going to undermine Ben Robinson, and with it, perhaps Australia's foundations.
Oh, look at the fired-up captain. Looks like he's going to enjoy it as well. Now, I should say the anthems will be led by Blake, but before then we will have a moment's silence on this, of course, Remembrance Weekend. As the players make their final preparations, so that on the big screen and for you at home there will be images of a silent single, a video out now called 2 Minute Silence. Some familiar faces from United Kingdom life have lent their support to the Royal British Legion Poppy Appeal. All proceeds from the download to the appeal. Same too for the tickets sold for Wednesday night's game between the combined services and Samoa in Gloucester. England's opponents, of course, Samoa next week. Back to this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem of Australia, led by Blake. Please remain standing for the England national anthem, once again led by Blake.
Well, it's got all the makings of a top test match. England looking to play in a way that not just threatens but beats the best. And they showed themselves how to do that in the summer. But Australia have been getting better and better since then, and they have a backline here that is capable of embarrassing the opposition. England experienced that side of things in the summer too.
Well, you know, to put this game in context, I think if England win against Australia here at Twickenham, it's a bigger win and perhaps a more significant breakthrough for Martin Johnson's team than when they won in Sydney. Australia are the most improved teams in the world, but as Robbie Deans was saying earlier, England too are improving at a fair old rate of knots. Fascinating game.
Fraser Bear of South Africa, the referee. By the way, Scott Jim Newell is in the TV trucks, the TMO. Quite an important figure last week, wasn't he? For England, it has got to stop being about the day they nearly did something at Twickenham. And of course, wearing their new change strip. Toby Flood starts the match. Drew Mitchell and Genia. Bit high for Cooper. And it gave Moody a chance of an early charge down. Foden. Youngs. Sheridan. Posse of Wallabies there to greet him. Flood out to Easter. Ashton thought about coming inside. Flood again to Tyndall. He's come through the bodies. Trying to drive those bodies on as well. Sheridan again. Youngs to Flood. There was a little bit of space that time. Sharp tries to get back. Flood has rolled the right way. And it was Moody and Cole, and Happy on his own on the flank there. Retains possession. Ashton almost getting in the way as the obstructing man, but referee lets it go. England keep going.
Very good shape to this attack from England.
Youngs. Flood. There's Cole with Laws. Ball lost eventually. And Curtly Beale clears. Foden again. And what will he try from here? He's having a run. And the support there with him. Runs again to the blind side, dropped by Easter. When England had the chance to get it going again. And then the penalty for holding on.
Man on the ground, holding on, players on their feet, all the rights.
Well, that's a disappointing end to a very fine passage of play from England. One ball lost in the tackle and then the knock-on from Easter.
Well, Australia hardly had the ball and they had the first shot at the post.
This is lovely play there. It's Flood who makes the break, but Ben Youngs is just... the lateral dart creates real problem there. And the captain, the first man to strike blood for Australia, dumps Dan Cole quite legitimately there. Ball turned over. It was also very interesting to see at the start, wasn't it? Lewis Moody so fast upon Quade Cooper in Sydney twice in the first 5 minutes. He smashed Cooper before Cooper got the ball away. Expect the Wallaby fly half to be under pressure and expect this man kicking, James O'Connor, to have something to do with this game. He's just one of those players, the baby-faced assassin.
He's now the kicker. Of course, it was Giteau in Sydney. He's gone right off the boil with his kicking back, Giteau. Plenty of options in the back line. Curtly Beale, Quade Cooper, saw him kick in the series in the summer, but now it's James O'Connor. 20 years of age and already 26 caps now, adding the one from today. He's fearless, as he should be at 20. But it's another thing doing it. And this time O'Connor, who won the game late in Hong Kong with that wonder kick after his try, fails to get the first points of the afternoon here. Happy thinks about a quick one.
Of course, when Australia won in Bloemfontein against South Africa, it was about 5 metres back from that position. Curtly Beale hit the winning goal, but he's gone off form with his kicking as well. It isn't the greatest area of Wallaby strength.
Here is Beale. His speed is a real asset, and that's a good catch from Ashton under pressure from Beale on the chase. And the two Northampton men, Foden and Ashton combined. Easter makes no mistake that time with his catch. And that strong finish to the game personally, Nick Easter last week. Youngs takes them on again. Try score it in the second test in Sydney. Easter having to act as scrum half. Cole as first receiver. Out it goes into midfield now with Tyndall onto Cueto. Tackle was from Adam Ashley Cooper, now finding himself in the centre. Man who scored in the last 2 games here at Twickenham for Australia. Ashley Cooper, that's going towards the corner. Battle of the 210s, Flood finding Cooper. And it's Cooper without the Ashley bit. And Genia gets the ball away. England disappointed with their line out last week. Players saying that very openly this week. They look to show the control here, with Hartley coming in at hooker for Steve Thompson.
Croft at 2 again. He won a lot of ball there last week.
Goes to Palmer. Flood. Oh, that's not a good pass, and it's well picked up by Shontaine Happy. Did his side a service there. But that doesn't help. Again, it's holding on, so the referee is making it absolutely clear early on in this match that a player that does not release that ball immediately is going to get penalised. Of course, with Pocock there, such a defensive threat for Australia.
We've been talking the week, haven't we, about England's narrow defence in the early minutes against New Zealand. Look at Australia, first couple of minutes, England doing what the All Blacks did, trying to go wide. Australia with Adam Ashley Cooper almost out of your picture, a little bit wider, always have this covered. England trying to do what the All Blacks did, nice pass in there, but Ashley Cooper and company are there, got it covered. It's lovely to see, isn't it, England first couple of minutes, not just passing the ball instead of kicking it, but passing it with a reason, not for the sake of it. It's been a good start.
It might not be on the scoreboard if O'Connor can take this. Again, it's a long way out.
Significantly easier than the last one, though, isn't it, because of the angle? Not that easy.
I wouldn't say an easy kick. Doesn't look the type that has demons in the head after one miss. No sign of that in his career so far. There's going to be 2 misses now for O'Connor. Might just dent his youthful exuberance a little bit within the confines of this match. Did say might.
I have my doubts. They've changed their goal kicker, and Gitto will kick 6 out of 6. But England have got to make sure they don't get 6 chances now. Cooper's first touch.
And Beale, O'Connor in that channel that he loves. He can cause so much damage there. Feint on the outside. Sharp is in midfield, and his pass was good to find Quade Cooper onto Matt Gitto. He's got Drew Mitchell, who's sniffing for it down that touchline again. Matt Gitto, 8 years since he made his debut as a raw youngster himself, still only 28.
Classic example of having 3 fly halves. Beale's in first of all. Next comes Cooper, fly half standing there. Matt Gitto, another man who could play fly half. Australia makes 60 metres, clever play.
Gitto made his debut on this ground, Gitto, didn't he? Hartley throws to Tom Croft. Easter back. And it was Flood to Tyndall. Tyndall does kick in the end. Again, England showing ambition. Just making it different the way they try and relieve their defensive lines, not always with the boot. And they'll throw into this line out as well. Signalled by Christophe Bedos on that far side. Simon McDowell, the other assistant, to referee Joubert today.
Come in, please, come in.
Joubert just wants this line out to be hurried a little bit. 5-man called. stolen.
England had problems there against New Zealand. They don't want them to re-emerge. Pocock. Plenty of muscles in the legs, let alone the arms. There's getting it quickly in. It's lovely quick service, and immediately it's in the hands of Ashley Cooper. That was so quick from Australia. In a flash, Cooper again. McCalman lined up and put on the floor by Palmer. Good tackle. England turnover ball. Maybe a chance to go themselves. Youngs is looking for it, and there might be some space on that side. That's good vision for the scrum half. Flood gets it out. Tyndall, the prize to kick down the middle. Tyndall gives the pass to Youngs. They're still calling for that kick. Tyndall has it up to that 22. Good breakaway from England, and they're a man down as well in this attack as Cole takes it on. Youngs blindside again. This time Australia have a little bit more cover, but it's with Croft. Pocock in again. Another big tackle, but it's England ball. Youngs. Courtney Laws.
They're strong, very strong.
Held by Moody as captain. Youngs caught in possession, needs to get rid of this. But the referee has penalised Australia on the fringe of that ruck. And a chance for England to get the points.
Well, some lovely counter-attacking play from England, but hats off to Tom Palmer. What a thudding tackle that was, and it was Palmer's weighty tackle that led to the turnover. And then we've had all these years when England have just dropped deep from turnover and kicked the ball to touch. Not this time. Ben Youngs sensed it was on, and Toby Flood was flat. Tyndall involved. Tyndall didn't kick it when that was the easy option. Really good play.
Then Flood was flattened, waiting for him to get to position for kick.
But now McCalman's a good carrier, but he was just hit hard. So often in the past, England kicked that deep, look for the safety of the touchline. Not anymore. That's where Flood gets hit, but really good play. And Youngs working around Mike Tyndall. That's a superb play from England. That is an earned swing low.
And you can see Ashton tracking there. He wanted it all the time. They just couldn't find him. He's in a great position there, Chris Ashton. His killer position. He's born to finish, that man, at all levels, it seems. So Flood's okay. Back on his feet, able to try and open England's account, which he does. So Australia fell with O'Connor early on. Ronnie Johnson's kick of Toby Flood does not fail. And England get going, and they deserve to get going if you have the amount of ball they've had, and certainly that attack.
And how they've been using it as well. Very smooth there. Again, Ben Youngs is at the epicentre of everything England are doing at the moment. But big, powerful hit from Palmer, the turnover and the willingness to run. That's very encouraging.
Cooper restarts. Shantaine happy. He's strong in the tackle, isn't he?
He's always looking for that little one-handed offload. He was looking for it there.
Rarely does the ball get dislodged when Happy's got it. It's one of his assets. Croft was a little bit laboured from England. And Flood wrestles to get the ball back. He's helped by Croft. And there's Youngs spreading it wide again to Happy. Tyndall gives the call. And Tyndall carries in two hands and releases Easter. And Palmer. Lots to enthuse about for England here in these opening exchanges. Flood floats it wide to find Cueto. Elson was there again, needed to be, leading that Australian defensive line. The captain. Cueto again, little ripple of applause from the home crowd. Hartley. Youngs to Ashton. Cueto, all of England's back three. We saw Foden earlier in this attack, and Ashton too, plus Cueto looking to get involved when there's a chance around the breakdown. Ashton's hovering there again, but Moody loses that, goes through the fingers.
Which way, Christoph?
Referee checking with his assistant, so it is advantage for the knock-on. Christoph Bedell saw that ball did go forward.
Well, what England did very well, once it was knocked on, they made sure it was slow ball for Australia. That's where the Wallabies are deadly. Now, we talked about the benefit of having 3 fly halves for Australia. Here's 2 scrum halves for England. Foden, by trade a scrum half, first of all, gets away with a knock on there, but the intent was good. And this is a beautiful visionary pass from Ben Youngs. Harpe with the follow-up pass. Harpe and Tindall have started well too.
First scrum of the game. The applause from the crowd turned into cries of meat.
14 minutes before it's the first scrum. A lot of good, accurate passing. We've seen some pretty stuff. Now let's see what the beasts have got to do.
Raw meat. Sheridan, Hartley, Cole. It's as if they've been bred for this kind of moment in international rugby against Robinson, Moore and Alexander, the 2 Bens with Stephen Moore, and they'll feel happier with him at the hooker position. And England have not listened to the referee's instructions and concede the first offence at the scrum. It's a free kick, so we'll have to wait for the big confrontation there. It'll come, and it's come back now to Quade Cooper. Quite narrow there, Australia. They had men to the left, but really nothing on the right, and that's why it's got to come this way again with Cooper and Giteau. Foden, the crowd will want him to counter. He will want to counter, but that's not the time with 3 Australians quickly up on the chase. And it's a good kick from Foden. Let's go down to the front line.
Here we go, England, great start, but look at key man here, Pocock. He's the man that's going to stop. As you see here, he comes in, Harpe carries, he's straight in, straight over the ball, perfect position, great threat.
There's Dean Ryan.
Well, Australia are going to need Pocock slowing ball down because there's such fluidity in England's attack that, dare I say it, if England get quick ball, they might start looking like a Tri-Nations team. They've started really well.
With the John Eales medal this year, the prize for the top Australian player in 2010, went to David Pocock. And there he was again. Cooper going wide, looking for O'Connor. And Foden watching that bounce like a hawk, as the fullback must.
He's got a decent kicking game, Quade Cooper. He wouldn't have minded that one staying in, but Australia have stolen a line out in this part of the field so far. And England know if they do steal another one, they're so deadly.
Hartley cross, certainly contested there by Chisholm, trying to get right across there, Mark Chisholm. Really did with great effect. Youngs. Cueto trying to get there to challenge in the air, and then he puts in the big tackle on young O'Connor. Getting at, certainly letting Australia know they're in a game with tackles like that. We saw Palmer's earlier. That goes crossfield, and no gain for Australia, all gain for England, courtesy of Mark Cueto's chase here.
A very good kick as well. I've used that name Youngs quite often, but that's a superb kick. Cueto's given a real carrot there, and he floors James O'Connor.
And Giteau was wanting that through the hands, but Australia were rattled by the tackle.
Yeah, they were. It wasn't good play from Quade Cooper. It was a dreadful kick.
Hartley missed the summer tour with that knee injury. Looking for Croft every time, it seems, at the moment. Palmer goes back to clear it up. Then it's Moody, 2 sevens. Moody versus Pocock.
Wait in front, Black, one of you in front.
And Flood to Mitchell, and then Curtly Beale just eats up the ground with that long stride of his. And there's nothing that Easter could do. What he would need to do now for his team is to deny Australia the chance to take the quick one. Of course, that is illegal, but so often it gets unpunished.
Well, worst piece of play from England yet, that kick. You do not fire balls straight into Australian shirts in the middle of the field. So quick there. Strong as well, isn't he, Bill? Nothing Easter can do there. That was real manna from heaven from the Wallaby counter-attacking team. England, when they kick, have to kick better than that.
Chip and chase versus Wales, that nearly try was nothing short of exquisite from Beale last week. Here comes Moody again on Cooper, nearly got there. Mitchell. It's good hands from Cooper to get the ball away from Moody. That's international rugby for you.
That's Cooper at his best, with no time. He loves it.
And here he is again, comes bursting onto that one. And Gitto, but it's lost. It's on the England side. How was it lost?
Played on the floor.
And England concede the penalty to Australia.
Toby Flood, I think it was. Now, does Rocky Elsom say we've missed two? It's a wide angle. Let's go for the drive to the line out.
Yes, he does. As Genia puts it out. Man of the match here, Ashir Genia.
No time at all for Cooper, but he is a matador. He loves this. He wants Moody to come on to him because he wants that hole to open up. England's defence inside is very good. They've plugged the gap, but Mitchell loves coming in there.
Encapsulated international rugby that moment, and the speed of thought process that has to be involved for the players. And what about here? Cooper with the pass off to O'Connor. That nearly worked, but it's lost, and it's an advantage to England because of the knock-on. Well, you would have thought so. England still have it.
13 away. Winger.
Young's charged down, and the referee is going back for the initial knock-on. Nothing coming England's way.
That's Cooper's favourite ball, and that's a superb tackle there. Flood again on James O'Connor. Cooper loves that fade, the lateral ball, and he opens holes for people inside. And people like Harpe and Flood and Moody are going to have to be very careful all day.
Trust my call. Crutch. Touch.
So here we are, scrum
Pause.
again.
And it's 1-0 to Australia at the moment.
And don't England know it?
Okay, all right.
2 penalty tries conceded, of course, in the Perth test in the summer. Referee pulls the scrum over to look for some firmer ground. There's been an awful lot of rain this week. And of course, the Twickenham pitch
Crutch.
in Super Nick.
Touch.
It's a lot better, isn't it, than either Hong Kong
Pause.
or, dare I say it, the Millennium Stadium. And the Aussies have made this point.
And England have made theirs. And they've more than levelled things. Australia got a free kick. England get a penalty.
Yeah, Craig Joubert's going to be at the centre of everything in the scrums. You know, in the Tri-Nations, referees perceive the scrums as a means of a restart, whereas a Frenchman like Romain Poit last weekend, well, he sees a scrum as the culture of a game. And you could see there, Cole is saying, come on now. He's demanding the penalty, but it's a massive difference between a Tri-Nations referee and a French referee.
Well, Dylan Hartley said to us in the week, he said that Dorian West and now Graham Rowntree at England level, Dorian West with him at Northampton has been drumming it into that man there in your picture, that the scrum is not a restart or means of a restart, it's a way of winning a game potentially. Certainly should have been for England in the summer in Perth. England looking to add more to their game, and we're starting to see that come through. Easter took that on really well, and now it's Flood's turn to change the point of attack, to find Hartley and Tyndall with that abrasiveness to his play. Palmer putting all those tackles last week. Now he's starting to carry the ball as well. Flood. Happy's after this. Beale's coming across. It wasn't an easy one to deal with, and he didn't have a lot of time. And he was on his left boot as well. So England have an attacking line out here.
First time England have got into Quade Cooper there. Nick Easter just bullocked through him. And Cooper's not the greatest tackler, but he's normally a little bit better than that. Just bounces out of the tackle there.
Easter, who played in the mugging in Marseille, England against Australia, quarter-final 2007. Here's Hartley looking to get this right at the line out. He goes to the tail, he finds Moody, it's Youngs, it's Happy on the crash ball, he's crashing through too. Youngs again. Just needed that snap to get that ball away quickly. He'll get another chance, but now Australia have reorganised. Hartley to Ashton, there he is, popping up again on the fringe of the ruck. Youngs to Flood to Sheridan. Promising. Will there be anything at the end of it? Laws.
Run away, goals!
Australia having to work hard and make these tackles in defence. Tyndall. Here comes Kuwaito, he's looking for the offload, he's found it! Croft! One more pass, might be the scoring pass, it is! England have got in! It's Ashton again! And the promise leads to a score!
I just think during that move, this is significantly superior to last week's performance against New Zealand. For the simple reason, England seem so much more comfortable on the ball. They're not rushing the offloads, they're supporting from deep. And that is a lovely patient try. They've had all the possession to start the Wallaby attack, but boy, are they doing stuff with it. Harpe, 2 metres only, but the metres that get Ben Youngs over the gain line. Really good play. Tyndall with the inside ball. Again, comfortable on the offload there. Croft with the weight, and Ashton, the tracker supreme, scores. He's done it again.
Happy went for Cooper. Helped to create. Try. Helped to give Flood the easiest of chances for a conversion.
But this is what I love, that offload there, left-handed Croft is superb, and the one before to Croft was pretty good as well. And Ashton, you made the point 5 minutes ago, he doesn't get there early, he waits for his moment and then he strikes. Ashton, the hammer of Australia.
His first international try was in the second test in Sydney, and he's got his second now in his 5th cap. He said he was born to finish. Always seems to be there. He's a goal hanger, isn't he? There's a lot more to him than that.
It's all going England's way at the moment. Beautiful salmon-like stuff from Easter.
It's 10-0 against international rugby's form team. And you sort of know, having said that the form team is going to come back at some stage, and it might not be too long. Picked up by Moore after Cooper's rather unconvincing Gary Owen.
10 black.
Windage Pocock. Cooper again. And a bit of space on the outside maybe as Mitchell waits. Adam Ashley Cooper has it. Beale joined the line at pace. Taken on by Alexander. Missed the summer with that knee problem. Referee's giving a penalty Australia's way. Might give another in midfield, actually. England were breaking off sidelines all over the place there.
13 never fell back to an onside position.
Yeah, Mike Tyndall penalised. He actually did very well on the initial attack when Quade Cooper put in one of those trademark passes. Curly Beale was flying on the arc, but Tyndall had stayed much wider this time. Didn't get sucked in. Think back to the New Zealand game when England had everyone between the two 15 metres. This time, Tyndall is nice and wide, and Ashley Cooper can't get the fend in on Ashton. In the end, the penalty comes, but the shape of England's defence better. They really do look in the first 27 minutes as if they have learned a great deal from last week's game.
On the negative side last week, and England were talking about it immediately after the game, as soon as they scored, they conceded points. And that has the potential to happen here again.
Slightly different though, Mars. I mean, they were very much immediate errors from things like poor kickoffs and loose errors. This was Australia putting width on an attack, and then Tyndall, okay, you can criticise him there, but sometimes you've got to push that line, otherwise Australia go right, left, right, and you find yourself in big problems.
Point taken.
This looks a tough kick now for James O'Connor after 2 misses and a 0-10 deficit for Australia.
Some rather ill-mannered booing. Don't like that. Probably just fires the kicker on, concentrates the mind.
Missed.
But there were other things happening in the O'Connor head relating to those kicks that Stuart was talking about, those missed kicks. And he couldn't get the in off, and Australia couldn't get the points. And a pensive look or two on the faces of members of the bench, Fianga and Burgess. Still 10-0. Almost reached the half-hour point. It's been a good half hour for England. The mark was called for by Foden, so he knew he could run out.
The crowd was sighing, thinking stay away from the touchline, didn't realise. Interesting what Mike's got to say about O'Connor's kicking and gets the chance at half-time, because he's pulled a couple and he's hooked one, and if you're a kicker, if you're going to miss, it's nice to miss in the same way because you can really correct it. At the moment, just a little bit all over the place. Aussies go.
Take it quickly. Genia was on his own there, and England had three forwards, Moody, Croft, Laws and Palmer in front of him. That's excellent chasing from England. They were aware that the quick one might be taken.
Ben Young's good position as well.
Oh, Shantain had a chance there. Had Ashton outside and 5 metres to work in. Flood, the man who gave the pass. Now, do we get a proper scrum?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? 16 blokes shoving. Australia saying last week, of course, their back row got up too early against Wales, and they certainly did. No one more so than Rocky Elsom. So England, they've addressed a lot of their problems. How's Australia now? Let's see this scrum.
Remember, a couple of years ago, there was all the talk about how England were going to murder them up front. Post Marseille, post what happened here with Sheridan and Matt Dunning and all of that all those years ago. But of course, in 2008, Australia came up with the answers.
Always been a very bright rugby nation, haven't they? Haven't got the most players, so they think their way through their problems. We've got a problem here, 10-0 down, and England really playing well. Oh, no, we don't. Do we get a different kicker now?
Cole, the judge there, to fall away at the scrum and fall to ground. 3 scrums we've had, and on all 3 occasions they haven't been allowed to develop beyond the whistle of the referee, which will suit Australia, and it will suit Australia, the decision here.
And you can see probably the only blight on the England first half hour, the number of penalties conceded. A dismissive shrug from Sheridan and a disbelieving shake of the head from the younger man, Cole. Easiest kick of the 4 for O'Connor, but he's 0 for 3, and it ain't easy.
Australia's record here, they've won 10 to England's 10, won 8 to England's 10 over the years. There's 0 from 3 for O'Connor, which is the stat that he doesn't want to hear. Well, the one he's trying to change. But Australia have won 3 of the last 4 on this ground. Obviously needs the gum shield for the kick. All part of the preparation that hasn't gone right so far. Did say so far. It's changed now, and Elsom doesn't have to think about a change of kicker either. O'Connor's back onto the horse.
Good strike as well, wasn't it? In the last one, the one he hooked, it hit the post. Hasn't been striking it badly, just not quite got the accuracy. Has now.
Satisfying for Australia. It came from penalty at the scrum. Mitchell took the restart. Genia to Cooper. And Moore now finding himself in the loose.
It's a good carry, isn't it?
Testing out the back that forced him to pull out last week in Cardiff. Cover from Youngs. Foden. Oh, stayed on his feet really well there, Ben Foden.
Right, 1 goal, there, go!
Only just comes to ground now. And he wasn't allowed to play it. And he's won a penalty there with some genuine strength there, Foden. He was 1-on-1 at the end, but he was against 2 or 3 at the start.
How many times has Ben Youngs been in that sweeping position, catching balls on the full? He's reading the game very well. You know, start of the season, I went to Leicester to watch them training, and Youngs works very hard on his drifting game in defence. He sweeps quite brilliantly, and they know that Quade Cooper, Curtly Beale love these little chips, and he's reading it well, and him and Foden seem to have a nice combination.
Saw those hours on Cromer Beach as a youngster.
It's not in the West Country, is it?
Yeah, so you wouldn't know about it. It's a beautiful spot. His dad used to place the irrigation pipes on the farm for kicking practice. Well, Toby Flood's had a bit of practice over the years as well. Not sure he used irrigation pipes on a farm, but he uses the posts on the famous field at Twickenham. Ian Young's driving this at the moment, the half-backs.
That little slow motion ball there just tells you about England's confidence. Great take from Easter, Flood looking one way, passing the other. They're believing in what they're doing.
Anyhow, important spell now before half-time. England have a healthy lead. Certainly look to maintain it and might even add to it at the moment. It's all about stopping Australia from getting back into it and getting that fillip before the interval.
Well, they were 24-12 down against the Blacks in Hong Kong, weren't they? And they came back to win it.
Slip from Gitto. Cooper with that jump start of his, and then Beale, and there's another big tackle. Fontaine happy that time. In goes Easter and Moody. England really mean this, don't they? Really mean it. Genia, Gitto, and Sharp. And he's a big man who can give as good as he gets. Gitto again. Really sliding through. It was Courtney Laws, who is the modern athlete, who made that tackle. Well, Laws could take his pick in 2012 Olympic events. Referee's given a penalty. Youngs has gone quickly again. Flood goes with him. Youngs takes the return pass. England flying after this. And Ashton, the try scorer, is there. Croft as well. And listen to the crowd. Suddenly O'Connor is buried underneath the England bodies, and England go on. They've got a penalty. They might get more. Youngs wants it. Gitto's on the wrong side. That's got to be a yellow card. I don't think there's any debate about that. That was a professional foul when a try would have been scored, or very likely to have been scored.
So I'm playing advantage. You dive on the wrong side, deliberate and cynical.
No argument, you're quite right.
Golden shirt, yellow card, had to be. Oh, England have got crossfield with a quick one. Cueto's put it to try. Referee's calling no. Referee is the voice in the background screaming no.
So sharp at the moment. Cueto thought he'd ended something of a try drought. And there are 30 blokes playing on this pitch at the moment. But right now, I just think one guy is towering over all of them at the moment. Ben Youngs is just determining the pace of this game. The Leicester scrum half is running the show. We've had years of everything so slow from England. Now they've got athletes in the second row like Courtney Laws. Great tackle. Remember the first counter came from Palmer. Ben Youngs went that time. This time from the penalty, Youngs doesn't think touch. He goes, he's in support, great pace, great vision, superb kick. His old man, Nick, wasn't a bad player. I played against him a bit, played a final here, but I'm sure Nick won't mind me saying it. His son's a bit better. If you do mind, sorry, Nick.
And Father Nick does have a win against the All Blacks to his name. Ben didn't get one of those last week, but there's every chance against Australia today. England sort of burst into life at the end of that game last week, and they've continued into this match. And that was a tricky one for Flood. Not necessarily the kick itself, but you'd normally expect to get, because of the way England had got into that position, and they were really feeling that a try was about to happen. It was pressure on Flood there to get at least 3 points.
Oh, when Matt Gitto in the bin is a really healthy looking situation. But they just look relaxed, don't they? They're not feeling the pressure. This is a massive leap from the end of the All Blacks game. England kept the ball and they were frantic and they were powerful. But they are really relaxed with the ball in hand here. And You've seen me, Miles, for many years here, especially during these autumns. Just looking so depressed and so fed up at times. Big smile at the moment.
Genia to Cooper. Australia looking for pace of their own here on the game. Need to kick themselves into life here. Find a burst that belongs to them and that doesn't belong to this excellent England team in this first half. 2 minutes less until the interval. Sheridan makes another tackle, but
Offside, number one.
England conceded a
Put the ball
penalty.
down.
And they were in control of that situation, and now they've conceded 10 metres.
Number 8, let the ball go. Let the ball
That's
go.
silly. I'm sure Martin Johnson is thinking of some other words.
He'll be livid. He'll be delighted with the broader context of the first 40 minutes. But Martin Johnson, well, he was not averse to a bit of ill discipline in his younger days, but by the time he was captain of England, he'd worked out how to win Test rugby. It's taken him a fair bit of time as a manager to work out how to produce teams that can win Test rugby, but in the first 39 minutes, it looks like the penny has dropped. Still a long way to go, and there's a desperately dangerous attacking Australian team. But I was saying, Mars, I'm just smiling because England seem to have the vision. They've also got a bloke kicking the goals, you know. For so many years it was a man called Wilkinson. Flood's doing that, but Flood is also really keeping things flowing outside him.
Remember, play the complete game. But these points matter, they really do, especially, as you were saying, against this ever dangerous Australian side. They haven't been able to get into their stride yet, but that's not to say that they won't in the second half. And they've lived off scraps many times before, as we said earlier. Important score for him and for his team. And that's exactly what it's going to be, a score. So England 16, Australia 6. Do we have time for a restart? Just about. No, we don't. Referee didn't get there in time. Clock ticks over, players disappear. It's just like Sydney. Don't see the Opera House, but England have had an excellent first half. There's a smile there from Tom Palmer as he takes off his headgear, and so he should smile, but the job is only half done.
So many people thought it was England's pack against the Wallaby backline. It hasn't been that way. England have won a lot of possession, but they've done so much with it. This has been England's best 40 minutes under Martin Johnson. Significantly superior to Sydney, much better than last week. England have been excellent, but they're still in a game. Aussies are a very good team.
Half-time, England 16, Australia 6. 16-6 and thrown another 6 minutes left on the sim bin. How important is this little spell coming up now for Lewis Moody in England?
Well, there's certainly no doubt at all that Rocky Elsom would feel it a huge psychological boost if they could get the only points in the next 6 minutes. The other thing they've got to do is stop people like Ben Youngs. He's just ignited England behind him, and Toby Flood is flowing very well alongside. It's the benefit, of course, of having guys who play alongside each other. We've talked so long about Genia and Cooper, the Queensland halfbacks. Today we're talking about the Leicester 9 and 10.
But even when England were the best team in the world, playing in the biggest game of their lives, they find it very difficult to put an Australian team away.
There's no premature calls yet.
Cooper starts the second half, and that's a call from the excellent Croft. All the way through that first period, did so much that was good, Tom Croft, and he started this second half and maybe set the tone again. He's given England that early possession to take advantage of this sim bin period with Matt Giteau in the bin. After that professional foul, just short of the Australian line, lying on the wrong side when England were in a great position to score their second try in the first half. But they have their advantage now, not just the penalty, 3 points scored as Giteau went off, but they have their advantage of the extra man. Can they make it count? Youngs, Flood, he is challenging, asking questions and taking it up into those gaps, sometimes threatening to get through the gaps. Told now by a stats team that's 6 carries from Toby Flood in those situations. Courtney Laws Well, if he had sleeves,
One goal!
he'd have rolled them up.
Slightly high though there, wasn't he? And it can be occasionally, but what England do, they get behind him quickly, they get the drive on, they get the penalty.
And Flood with a chance for the first points of the second half. This is Croft's work.
Well, you remember Easter in the first half at the restart, Tom Croft going forward, Easter was going backwards, but it's the basics, and England are doing them very well. Nathan Sharp, an outstanding lock forward, but Croft, he uses his pace just to get there and launch himself.
Just felt that he was the untapped resource in the England pack. Croft, rangy roaming around the field. We've seen that today, and his presence there at the restart, and we've seen that from Laws in his caps so far. It's fourth time in 6 games that Laws has taken on Australia in his international career. And Croft and Laws, exactly the type of forwards that England want to bring on and develop as major forces in the international game. Here's Flood. Clock ticking on the sin bin. Can he get the distance? Oh, he can! Beautifully measured from Toby Flood. Summing up his performance today, that kick.
First plunge at England. As I said, I thought Courtney Laws was slightly high, but the first 2 guys in to drive Laws forward were 2 of England's back 3. Ben Foden so quick there, and Mark Cueto. Then Sheridan came the dump truck, but it was 2 of the back 3 that really did the bit so well.
Australia went the same way, and they found Croft again. This time a slightly less acrobatic take, but he still needed that presence that we've seen in his game today. Easter, Foden, missed out Moody, and it was given to Happy, and then Cueto, who's done the flying miles, Mark Cueto, international level. Some questioning whether he still could do the flying down the wing, but he's played his part today all right. There he is again from Young's pass. Moody again. England comfortable with that ball in hand. 2 captains meet, and it's Moody, the happier of the 2. Easter. He's just blasted his way past the first man. Flood. Tyndall has got Cole outside. Tyndall looks to carry as he does and to use those strong shoulders. Croft. Youngs to Sheridan, had to stoop to get it, but he didn't lose his momentum, and there goes Palmer.
Great offload, Sheridan, really good play.
That was Hartley who gave the penalty away. He came sliding in off his feet, and it gives Australia a chance for a counter-attack, and Alexander. And Genia has been overshadowed by Youngs today. It takes some doing. Will Genia.
Run away, Black!
Feeds to Moore. 53rd cap for him today. And Australia's going to need that experience of players like Moore in this situation now. Chisholm also over the 50 mark, reached 50 against England in the summer, didn't he? There'll be no panic from Australia. Sharp too.
6!
Up in the 90s with his caps. All the John Eales. Ben McCalman just starting out. Good retention from Australia. But what about now as England look to contest and look to drive through the middle in the shape of Easter? Mustn't give that penalty away though. Genia goes round, finds Cooper. Cooper to Adam Ashley Cooper. Moody's hit, and then it's Moore again. Just a minute left on the sin bin now, so this is working well in 2 ways for Australia. They're not just going upfield and they're going to get a penalty. They're using sin bin time now. Will Genia has decided from a very kickable position to run it to Pocock. He doesn't have Giteau in the back line, but he backs himself, he backs his teammates. This will be some statement from Australia. Alexander again. In goes Robinson. Robinson drives into Happy. There's Beale. Genia waits. He marshals everybody behind him. Sharp. His opposite number, Palmer, with another tackle. Australia, remember, a man down here. Genia goes himself, and Flood gets across, and it's Palmer once more. And that ball will come back on the England side. The man was turned, and Youngs is looking to go. Laws takes it on. Ashton on the outside. Ashton going up the wing. Takes on the fullback, who was Mitchell covering, and Ashton is going. Ashton's going to score. It's England who make the statement. And it's Australia who don't know where it's coming from. What a score for Twickenham to celebrate.
West Ham has gone berserk, the whole place has gone potty. Our television monitors, it feels as if there's an earthquake here in southwest London. Tom Palmer, how many big tackles has he made? But how many times has Ben Youngs, instead of saying, so close to our line, let's clear it, he doesn't. He decides to go. Brilliant play from the second row, but Ben Youngs, play not where you are, but what's in front of you. That is truly brilliant. And Courtney Law's offload, it's then just 75 metres for Ashton. I say just 75, but this Northampton man, my goodness, what a try from England.
Oh, that's right up there with the greatest ever at Twickenham, no doubt about that. Conversion from underneath, of course that was going over, and of course Ashton was as well with his speed, even against this back line. Moody must be so proud of his men. Here's the kick again, just to confirm what we already knew was going to happen. And the irony of it all is that it was Cooper who's thrown so many dummies during this year of 2010, who bought it on the English line. Genia's being helped from the field. On comes Burgess. Gitto's back on to make it a full complement. But that was nothing about having an extra man, that try for England. It was all about the willingness to play and to see what was on, and having the skill to back the idea as well.
As Will Genia goes off, you feel that he probably made a mistake going for the try. But then when they're on the line, the ball had to go. Bad decision making. Ben Youngs on his own line said, let's go. Croft, incredible.
26-6, and power it seems to add. And you can hear what the crowd thinks about it. Referee allows Australia to come through there. Cole somehow rescues it, but England have gone in at the side to win it.
Now we've got to remember that Australia, they might be ranked 2 in the world, but they've got a lot of young players on the pitch now. They are 26 points to 6 down, and they have been rocketed by that try. Psychologically, to feel you're on the verge of crossing for a 5 or 7 pointer, and then 20 seconds later be huddled under your own post is massive. Ashton has struck a knife into the heart of the Wallabies' hopes.
Well, not Genia thinks, not just about his aching rib or whatever he was holding as he left the field, but that decision not to go for 3 points, which I know is the conservative call, but felt like the right call as well with a man in the sin bin.
And then he felt he could just have, England had turned it over. Then he should have gone for the pass as well. Australia, bad decisions. England's immaculate.
Youngs with the box kick. Ashton's on a hat-trick.
Great box kick again, great chase.
Easter. England really looking like they're enjoying this as well, which has to be part of it. But why wouldn't you enjoy playing rugby like this? Croft again. Australia are turning it over though. No, they're not. Youngs has got it back. Flood to Tyndall. Wants a piece of Gitto.
What is that?
Youngs has to get there quickly and does again. Then it comes back from Easter into the hands of replacement scrum half Burgess. Cooper to Sharp to Gitto. There might be a bit of space. Foden gets a hand on it. Had Bill got a boot on it, then Australia were gone there. Foden had come up into the line. There was nobody behind him. Youngs, Tyndall. But you sense England are not going to stop playing. They're not going to shut up shop here and try and make it tight. They're going for this today. Flood kicks again. Cooper.
Who else?
Youngs Sees off Cooper, finds Laws. Laws has Cueto outside, he had Easter inside. Happy. So often been the cement today, Happy. Flood.
Ben Youngs has taken a blow.
And he's hurt. This is Beale. Mitchell. He'll be smarting from Ashton's run.
Wait, goal 7.
It's one of those where he's just desperate to get across and just couldn't get in the right position. Ashton was the man with the forward momentum, as was Foden there. Youngs is still down. England need a stand-in scrum half. It's going to be Croft. Hartley.
Let it go, Gold! Wait, not out.
Flood. Easter. Happy. Assistant looking at the touch line, but it wasn't touched. Flood having to do his mate's job at the moment at scrum half. What a pickup that is! Oh, what a pickup! And Australia in the shape of Chisholm trying to go. How did the big man down there? That was magnificent work from the second row. Really was. England try and counter-ruck though, and they've been powerful in that department. Just not quite powerful enough on this occasion. McCalman to Moore, to O'Connor, to Cooper, and Cooper senses there's extra men over there, and Gitto is one of them. And Gitto keeps going, but that's good tackling back from Ashton. He was out of position sometimes last week, he wasn't out of position there. Sharp. Youngs is back on his feet, but Tyndall's struggling now. And he knows he needs to get back defensively. Youngs and Tyndall, you can see there now, acting as the wide men. They might be required in a counter-attack here if England get this, and they do. It's Cole, they will be required. Cueto on to Croft. Tyndall can hardly run, but he's trying to get there. That's Mike Tyndall for you. And that's Pocock for you as well at the breakdown. And here's Gitto. Oh, his end-to-end stuff picked up by Elsom. On it goes to Alexander. Burgess can't take it, but Cooper can. No chance for the outside run this time. It's too crowded. He's flipping a pass anywhere to find Robinson.
11 black.
Burgess to Gitto. Elsom. Oh, another hit on Moore, but he stood firm. And here comes Beale. Beale with one of those chips over the top. Happy's trying to get there, but he won't get there. Nor will Ashton. Beale scores. We have a test match. Boy, do we have a test match.
Credit to Australia. England started this half so well, but they have come back. Curtly Beale trademark. He is so quick. And the touch of class about his attacking game. He's flat out, but the quality of his kick at pace is something to behold. Stephen Moore, that's an important offload. Straight as a die, Beale, the clever chip, and then he just sprints onto this, and you know there's only one outcome there. I thought Australia were dead too soon. That's a brilliant kick. From that reverse angle, you can see the quality, because the guy is really travelling. The weight of the kick, the direction is perfect. Only one man getting there.
So we got to 26-6. It's not that now. I'll take nothing away from Australia. We knew they'd come back, and what a try that was. England slightly unfortunate in that Youngs was not really able to be a part of any of it, and Tyndall too was struggling badly there. But that will be the wrong emphasis. The right emphasis will be to congratulate Australia on that score and the conversion as well. And Elsom's team, what do we say? Never say die.
Australia 13.
Great little offload there from Moore, that's the key. Pace, precision and execution. That looks easy from Curtly Beale, but it was brilliant.
Kerr is on for England at scrum half. Of course, he came on last week, and there's no drop in form from England in that department when Youngs was replaced.
Oh, they'd like Youngs to have stayed on today, though, wouldn't they? At least for another 20 or so. He's been brilliant.
It wasn't sublime form. Just wonder how much, though, had been given up to that point. See Palmer trying to get back on the try. He was blowing, lungs burning. Up goes Foden, who resisted the professional foul on Beale. He had a chance to put him on the floor. He would have certainly gone into the sin bin. It's well played, Cueto. Oh, Cueto goes through! It's more than well played, that's excellent. He just couldn't get in the left hand offload, but it's Kerr to Flood, to Laws.
5 goals!
And a penalty. And now it's England's turn to get the chance immediately after the opposition scored. That was happening against them last week, but this week is so different.
I don't think Martin Johnson's team are going to do what Will Genia did and take a quick tab. Very calm there. Mark Cueto made it look so easy. Adam Ashley Cooper burst.
We haven't had a scrum this half yet, have we?
Well, 3 in the entire game, and we thought this was going to be a game. People said England just want to turn it into a set piece. The attrition has been replaced by something far easier on the eye, and I think the important thing for England, if they go on to win this, is to know there are more than one ways to win against Southern Hemisphere teams. You can beat them by playing rugby, not just slowing them down.
We take off Ashton's points, then Flood has 16. He has more now, there's Toby Flood. Just looks like he is now a fully fledged top international player today. This is Ashton's try.
He's celebrating almost before he takes on Drew Mitchell. It might be his...
That's a grimace.
Oh, I think he knows. He's a born finisher. That was a very important kick for Toby Flood, wasn't it? Just to take England 2 tries clear.
But you're right, he knew he could do it, and that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
On comes Brown for Australia, lost by Moody for England. Elsom and Moore.
I just like to think he knew he was going to score.
And Beale. There's a way out of this for Australia, and they know it, because they back themselves too. And Sheridan has turned him into breadcrumbs. There's Moody to Happy, another good offload from him. Laws. Still Laws. Cueto was signaling that he wanted the chip in behind. Laws didn't take it on. Cueto again to Cole. There was a chance. Kerr. Might be another one here. Flood to Tyndall. Takes 2 to stop it. Flood and Foden.
Fun!
And it was just tickled back on the Australian side, but then it came England's way with a knock-on from Elsom.
How many times have big tackles been so powerful for England? Andrew Sheridan smashes Matt Giteau. We've seen Laws doing it, we've seen Palmer doing it, we've seen tries as a result. And then Australia don't know what they're doing, and Harpe, who has been very solid through. And look at the Northampton duo there. Hartley aware, Laws with a dummy, Carrion and Strong. And there's still a way to go, but this has been such a good hour for England.
Good from Hartley there, he was rampaging, wasn't he? Australia were getting back. We see it again, that replay shows that Australia were getting back to make tackles. But they've had to make a few in this match, so to England, and that...
More to the point, Miles,
yeah,
though,
on the missed category.
Because it's fair to say in the last 5 years or so, England at the highest level of international rugby are not a team you miss tackles against, because they don't ask the questions. Today, they have been dazzling at times.
Berwick Barnes is coming on for Matt Giteau. And we have the first scrum of the half. A rare breed today, the scrum. England will be looking to fire up the Barbie again.
There's life beyond the scrums, though, in this international rugby.
We had no chance. Coles were barely on.
We still haven't had one scrum.
That was Easter. This is Kerr. Flood and Happy. Sheridan. Well, he fancied that tackle, didn't he? He fancied it going forward as well. Palmer, what a game he's had.
He's been fabulous.
Kerr, Flood. Cueto spinning out of tackles, going on. Oh, Mark Cueto, what a run from him. We're seeing it from both wingers. Kerr wants it back for England. Forwards want to have a go first. Now Kerr says no. Let's make sure.
6 goals!
It's only Laws to the right, Croft coming left. Ingo's Foden to try and clear the ruck. It's in the shadow of the post. It's Kerr to Flood to Hartley. Another score here, could be the biggie. Kerr again, Laws. Then he's gone forward, Cole to Flood. In comes Brown, the replacement, with a tackle. Just had to grab onto Flood.
Let's go, goal!
Kerr again to Happy.
2! Move away, 19!
Kerr, short ball, Hartley's come flying in. Now he's at the width, Kerr to Laws. No, still coming back in from Laws, but they're making ground again. Kerr to Flood, that was difficult to deal with. Cueto couldn't catch it, and it's still backwards. The ball, that is, not England. Sheridan forwards again. Hartley dumped, but he lives to tell the tale and goes on. Flood, Palmer, or tries the backhands. And then it's Croft. It's Tyndall. So abrasive from England, oh, of all men. Mike Tyndall loses it in contact. And then Australia get the penalty. And they're still in the match because of that defence.
Heart-stoppingly exciting, wasn't it? But you have to say, in that attack, England made 2 or 3 errors. That looked a little bit more like the last 20 minutes against New Zealand, when you said, wow, what intensity. But some of the passing was poor, and some of the ball protection wasn't good. Here's the 4th scrum of the game, 2 penalties and 2 free kicks, and Easter carrying into them. Sheridan, he hasn't had his quota of scrums, but he's made some big hits, and he's enjoyed some carries. That's his 7th.
And the Salman Mark Cueto scored against Australia in the 2005 win. Also the 2004 defeat here. At the moment, England so well placed to go and secure this win. Mike Tyndall won't be part of the finish, though. He's been struggling for a while, Tyndall, but typical of the man, he's refused to accept, but he's been hurt. And Denon Armitage comes on.
Yeah, a very poor game last week, Mike Tyndall. He dithered all over the place. A lot of critics, and he has bounced back with a very strong display. Hasn't tried to be fancy, he had his role and he's done it very well.
That was Dean Mumm winning the line out for Australia. He's now on as well. That's a kick from Cooper right towards the corner, and Mumm will be involved in another line out, and a pressure one for England.
Oh, that's a very clever kick there. A very good kick indeed from Quade Cooper. Loves that one, just hooks it back. Bang. And Drew Mitchell is sprinting onto that.
Hartley Croft has been the combo of the day for England, and that is a penalty. Maybe the penalty of the day for England, because it was a pressure point, and Martin Johnson knows all about those in international rugby. Lineouts just short of the line when a side, now desperate like Australia, need that score, need to challenge. Just they gave the penalty away.
I'm just thinking in this game, there's really good club combinations, you know, in the back row. Croft's understanding with Youngs and Flood gone very well. You look at the Northampton back 3, understand each other. Dylan Hartley with his mate Courtney Laws, just working together. Little microcosms, and it's all come together today. He is some prospect, isn't he, Courtney Laws?
Laws top carrier of the day.
And look at that England, over 100 carries against the Wallabies, and they haven't been mindless. They've been to some effect.
But it's not been finished yet, and Burgess takes at the back of that line out, and he's got it off to slip with a prop. And Burgess there again, so the replacement certainly playing their part. Moore was the link to Cooper. On again, and Ashley Cooper. Beale's outside, must be. Second score for him now. Not over yet, is it? There is more than a touch of stardust that has been sprinkled on this Australian team. And we've seen that this year. They were given the chance, no doubt about that, gifted it really, but they took it.
Just after I said about the combination of Hartley and Laws, they get it all wrong. How quick is James Slipper? I mean, England's captain Moody makes a good tackle, but Slipper does the damage because he carries ever such a distance, and we've seen it time and again with Australia. Their ability to just put width on this for tries, exceptional. Lovely ball from Berwick Barnes. Ashley Cooper thinks I'll draw Armitage. No way you stop Beale here. An error from England's line-out, but it was ruthlessly punished by the Wallabies.
Right, O'Connor. "15 minutes is long enough for this Wallaby team. But they need to garner everything, and they don't get that too. So 29-18. Too close for comfort for Moody.
2 tries still because of that miss. It's a lovely play here. Berwick Barnes, this next pass is a beauty under pressure. Absolute class from Barnes. And Beale, he flies. Big day for Sheridan. Another step towards his complete rehabilitation.
David Wilson on for him. Burgess. Cooper. Couldn't believe his luck, could he, Burgess, at that line out. It's where England need to show not just the killer touch, but the composure as well.
We've seen an interesting side to Craig Cooper's game. The initial position from which England had to work their way out came from that hook kick. He gets the next ball, he goes more orthodox cross kick, but it's a very long and extremely accurate kick. Australia aren't trying to run their way back into it. They're playing territory and they're trying to put pressure on Dylan Hartley.
Hartley to Laws, and again coming through was Elsom. Got his head in the way, anything will do to stop England getting that ball quickly and cleanly at the line out.
Leave the head, leave the head! Leave the head, leave the head!
Cry of heave from the crowd there. I think they'd settle at the moment for a bit of up your jumper for 5 minutes to steady the ship.
Well, they put themselves in a position to play controlled territory rugby. It's time now to do the right things to win a game. You don't have to play 80 minutes as they played for an hour. They've got to make sure Australia don't get any easy territory.
This kick's an important one, as they all are towards this Australian back three. It was in a good position for England to challenge. It goes Ashton, it's bobbling around. Someone needs to get hold of it. It's Croft and Kerr who started it with that kick. Now he's put in another kick. Foden's after this, and he's really going after it too. Cooper. His silky running style. This is Cueto's. He's got through a few tackles today as Mark Cueto, and there's 2 more, and Ashton's with him. This could be the hat-trick. Ashton. Chris Ashton. Just short. Gets it back. Kerr. Happy. Stay composed, England, and it's yours. Kerr again. Somehow Australia got back. What a scramble from the men in gold. England try and go again. This is the moment for the killer touch. Wilson the replacement, and Australia not rolling away. England get the penalty. Time for Moody, the captain, to think.
Well, he's got to go for 3 points.
Has to, really.
I mean,
decision made. Flood's gone across.
Well, there's no point taking the scrum marks because all the scrums have been free kicks or penalties, and even if England get a penalty, they get a kick at goal anyway. So other than wasted a couple of minutes, it seems the obvious thing to do. And Flood has kicked very well indeed. Mark Cueto, he's loved Quade Cooper. Cooper has been like one of those rubber bands on a pinball, old-fashioned. He's been there, and you just hit him, ricochet off, and there you go. He's a great player, but his tackling has to be better than that. And you thought then, didn't you, Ashton was in? You did.
Well, he was backing himself. He did have support. Just had to roll around and give it to anybody, but of course, so easy from here, so easy with a replay too. Ashton, why shouldn't he back himself and his pace the way he's gone today? Hartley's gone off. Flood has certainly not been off his game today. And that is a record-equaling kick, not just for him individually. That takes him to 22 points for the day. That is a record for an individual England player against Australia in a test match. It also, a total of 32, I think, equals England's highest ever score against Australia when they beat them here in 2002 by 1 point on that day. Bigger margin at the moment as Palmer goes off, and boy does he deserve those applause. On comes Simon Shaw, cap number 60. England give a penalty away, chance to cancel out straight away, but Australia need more than that now. Final 10 minutes, they need tries, but they can score them. Cooper, slipper, nice ball from him. Here comes Barnes to Beale, another man on the hat-trick, and Ashley Cooper to O'Connor, he's gone out.
Never getting outside Ben Foden there. Just wonder whether O'Connor should have come off his right foot there. England kept their defensive line very good. Foden always has this one covered. Now, Steve Thompson didn't throw well last week. This is a pressure throw. If Australia could get a converted score, then 9 minutes would look a long time. England get away from this situation, and time is really ticking against the Wallabies.
And he's been there in a World Cup final against Australia, so those broad shoulders have shouldered a bit of heat before.
Do we get Tom Croft at the front? Short line out. No.
Oh, he's going over the top to Easter, and Easter knew exactly what was going to happen, and it was accurately delivered by Thompson. Fresh onto the field, Kerr back to Flood, and Flood clears, and it's getting towards the 8-minute mark now.
That sums up England. The temerity, 5 metres from their line, a new hooker on the pitch. Everyone thinks 4-man, you're going to go for someone like Laws. Bang, hit Easter there, give themselves an angle, make 35 metres. That was as intelligent as anything England have done all afternoon.
More throws with Thompson shouting in his face. There's Pocock and Brown. Richard Brown, who was the starting 8 in the summer, lost his place in the starting side. Can he influence the outcome now, though? Merrick Barnes to James O'Connor. He's been handing out the lessons, the youngster, of late, but he's gone back to school today. Here's Brown and Cooper, that injection of pace. Well done, Cole, it's a knock-on. Cole did enough. Kerr looking for the counter-attack. Laws leaves it. Happy knew it was coming. Flood. And he was looking for the kick that time for Cueto, and Cueto furious, but it didn't work out, and he gets the apology from Flood.
That's great to see Mark Cueto wanting the ball so much. For Sale, too often his first reaction is to kick a ball. He's on fire today. Toby Flood knew it. Toby Flood actually knew what he was trying to do, which is just take the game away from the English territory. Trying to play the percentage, it wasn't a great kick.
Well, still allowing the attack to go on with Cueto chasing. Thompson to the tail again, this time with a conventional line-out take from Easter. And there's Cueto, he just can't keep him off the ball. He's ripping it up, he's going all over the park today. Armitage with him, Moody there too. Now it's Simon Shaw. England spoiled for heroes today. Australia working at it. Burgess can see it, but I think it's the anthracite of England that have got over it. And it's the put-in to England, and that could be it. Who's your Investec man of the match?
Well, there's so many contenders. I almost loathe giving it to an individual on a team performance like this. Mark Cueto has turned back the years with an amazing performance. On the other flank, Chris Ashton has been immense. Both second rows, Palmer when he was on, and Laws have been superb. Tom Croft has been the pick of the forwards. But I think this performance is about who ignited England. And it was Ben Youngs' ability to show the daring, the vision and the bravery and all the skills in that first half that was the launch pad. Ben Youngs off at 55, but he's my Investec man of the match. He overshadowed Genya. He was glorious today.
Well, the crowd, the England pack, want their chance to have a scrummage, and they're not going to get it. I mean, that has to be free kick. England is taken by Kerr. And Australia way too early on that shot. But they've been a little bit too late in other aspects of their play today against a very sharp England. Thompson, Kerr, Flood, Happy. Look at that counter-ruck from Australia. Going down with a fight. Thompson again, who doesn't mind a fight.
7 goal!
Through comes Burgess. Kerr not really allowed to play it. Has to be a penalty. Going in at the side.
Take the 3 points.
Take a look at the scoreboard. It has to be 3 points, and that would seal it. With 40 in the difference, it has to be 3.
Just one of the reasons I went Ben Youngs. For the last few years, so often England have just been happy to secure ball and be static and drive it backwards and play territory. He's dominated the forwards. Lewis Moody might be the captain, but Youngs just snaps at their heels and he says, I want quick ball. And he's dragged Toby Flood with him. Amazing effort.
And it gives Flood a chance to smash the record, both for him and for the team. And it would also, just doing the maths, equal England's biggest winning margin against Australia, so it's a record-breaking day. But it's much more than that. Behind those records, a performance from England to savour.
It's 9 out of 9 for England's number 10, Toby Flood. It's England 25, Australia 18. The attendance at today's Investec International 80,000.
Contest at the restart, but the real contest has now ended. Everybody knows it, and England, who have been enjoying their afternoon, and visibly so, could really let down their hair now.
Well, even that restart competition has gone exclusively England's way. Easter, Croft, they've done the basics well. We've seen them do the basics quite well in the past, but then have nothing to add to the pros. Today, we have had touches of poetry there. Courtney Laws, what a prospect. What a prospect he is.
On comes Andre Fleury, Charlie Hodgson too, so everybody used on the England bench. It's Easter, Toby Flood go. And what a day for you to have the big man of the match. And everybody you see in shot deserves to be on the podium. Croft, a rare mistake from him, leads to the penalty. Australia might have the last shot, chance at consolation. That's not what they came for. Burgess, Cooper and Elsom.
They're Australians, there is no consolation, Miles.
They're professionals. There's no consolation, doesn't exist in the professional age. There's Burgess, oh, lovely show from him, and then the dink in behind, and Ashton gets a hand on it. England and the full-of-life Cueto bring it away. Referee wants to just check that, but he can't yet because play is still live.
Okay, hey, don't yell at me, I can always go back and have a look.
That was great refereeing. Australia didn't understand what he was doing. If it's not a penalty, if it's not an Australian try, then Cueto might have been away.
And B, if there was, which colour?
Do you think Ashton slipped as he went for it? No, he gets there ahead of Stephen Moore.
Well, I'd rather it had been at the other end for a hat-trick, but it was Ashton who put it down, and the boys over the line, so England didn't obviously take it over in the shape of Ashton.
It wasn't deflected off Burgess's kick, was it? That's the only other issue.
It's the only doubt.
No.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Went outside of Foden. So we restart with a 22 dropout. And Charlie Hodgson, one player who didn't leave the bench last week, he has right at the death this week. Beale is the kind of performance in game that deserves a crowning moment for England. Whether they get it is a different matter, but Australia have the ball. Alexander, I think England will complain if they don't get the final flourish. It's not a necessity today. It's a luxury, and he's happy who nearly takes it. Cueto was lurking again.
He's made a nuisance of himself, Shantae Happe. He's read the game extremely well. I think he has been a triumph of selection. Doesn't play 12 for his club because Ollie Barkley plays there. He's gone into that position, and as you said earlier, you called him the cement. He's been so solid, but when he's had to cross the gain line, he has. His hands have been good. It's been a selfless performance from the inside centre.
Johnson on this occasion at Twickenham can't wait to get on and say well done to his charges. You can hear what they think. One last chance then to extend it, maybe take it up to 40, and a penalty at the scrum. And for those who thought the scrum was going to dominate, it didn't. It was all the other aspects, and it's all England's day. In the summer, they knew the importance of that win in Australia, and they knew it again today here at Twickenham. And tonight, for the players and the management and the supporters, no if-onlys.
I think that's the best performance I have seen. No, that is the best day for English rugby since November the 22nd, 2003. And you and I called quarter-finals win in Marseille against Australia and semi-final wins in Paris against France. But England fought their way to victory that day, and heroic as it was, it lacked the vision, it lacked that world-class capacity that we saw today. It's too early to say this is a defining day because it is still only 80 minutes. But when you take Paris and then Sydney and then last week and then this week, the progression looks clear. This was the most exciting day I've seen from England for 7 years, Miles.
Lewis, can you remember the last time the Twickenham crowd roared like that?
No, it was incredible today. The whole stadium was behind us. You know, we really felt it on the pitch, and it gave us a huge boost. The way we came out and played today, Ben Youngs, Ben Foden, Chris Ashton, Mark Cueto, everyone across the board played their absolute hearts out, and full credit to the Aussie guys. They came and they gave us a tough match, but we believe in ourselves, and I think it showed today. And we'd just like to thank the crowd for your support today. You were fantastic.
And you knew that you had that in you. Was it just execution? Was that the main difference today?
I can't quite hear you, but I think he said something about execution, and we took the chances that came. We even had a few more today, which slipped us by. But it was a great performance from the whole squad today. Everyone stepped up, and it's about winning. That's the reason you play the game. You enjoy it when you win. And for days like today, I'd just like to thank Rocky and his team. It was a real tough battle out there, but we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Where did that confidence come from to play that attacking heads-up rugby?
From the belief, you know, the guys are playing week in, week out for their clubs, performing well, and we've got a tight squad now. And the continuity of being together and playing, you know, you saw a better performance last week. We were a bit rusty at the start of the game, and we were deeply frustrated with that. You know, that was another opportunity that we let go, but today we weren't about to let that happen, and you know, fair play to the backs. They really set a stall out today. Ben Youngs, Toby Flood, Mike Tyndall, all the guys, fantastic.
Well done to you and your team. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Just bring in Rocky Elson as well. Rocky, you've beaten New Zealand, you beat Wales. What made England more difficult today?
I think it was just a very good performance from a pretty sharp English side. The defence was solid. We probably didn't pose enough threats there with our attack, but you know, I think that the way they got through our defence, particularly on the turnover ball, was a real issue for us, and we didn't really come back from that.
Did they attack you ball in hand more than you expected?
No, I think they were particularly sharp on turnover ball. They were good with the ball in hand, I think, through their phases, but we expected that. I think that if you saw the game last week, they were definitely building towards something, and they were just a little bit sharper today, and you know, as I said, a very polished effort from them.
We knew that you had come back at them with the back line you have. Just left it too late?
Yeah, I think that we bled a few points there. We didn't stop bleeding points, and either with penalty goals or with the turnover tries, as I mentioned, and that was costly. You know, I think that any game where a team can continually score points, they're going to be a handful, you know.
Thanks for your time. Commiserations.
Cheers.